Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is a 1 mile fixed pace run and compare that with the first week to week 7, which is this week. And I have a little sheet with all that information. The first week she ran it in 10 minutes, and we kind of kept the times the same, which was kind of cool because we could keep the time the same, but then we could still see the heart rate drop. Right after completing the 1 mile, the first week, her heart rate was 149, and after 2 minutes it was 124, and after 5 minutes it was 76. Whereas in week 7 it was 138, which is 11 beats left, and then it's shot down to 97, which is over 27 beats less than the first week, and then it went down to 76, which is actually the same. It's weird. Yeah, so it was kind of cool to see her heart rate recovery. I don't know why, but the video cut off. But anyway, I was saying the recovery time, it increased. She had a faster recovery time, and it was kind of cool to see. So that's what the 1 mile fixed pace run did. The Cooper test, which is 1.5 miles as quick as you can. You can go at any pace at any time. The first week she got it in 10:44, and her heart rate immediately after was 161. After 2 minutes, her heart rate was 99, so that was a pretty decent drop. And then 5 minutes after that, it was 95. Now we move on to 7 weeks later. She got it in 9:35, which was more than a minute faster, and her heart rate right after was 150, so it was lower. But then her heart rate 2 minutes after was also higher, and 5 minutes after was higher than the first week, which I didn't really get. Maybe it was she didn't work as hard the first week, but she was pretty tired, and her heart rate was all the way up to 160 right after. So that's a good question. But yeah, some struggles were just trying to push her to work as hard as she could throughout the weeks, because sometimes she didn't really want to do the exercise, but I was like, look, I need you to, and she did. And I was like, I need you to go as hard as you can, and she did, and she did really well. So anyway, yeah, that was just some of the challenges. Other than that, she enjoyed it. She loved having this so I could track her too. She liked that, so it was good. The next test is the curl up test, which is as many like sit-ups as you can do in a minute. And first week she got 79. This past week she got 102, which is great. As far as challenges, there haven't really been too many that I can think of. But one victory is, and I haven't gone through and done all the charts yet, but I believe she's upped each week. She's gone up in her numbers, so there's been constant improvement in that, which has been cool to see, and I know she likes seeing that too. But to go from 79 to 102 in a minute is pretty good. Go. "20 seconds. Bust it out. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, done." Alright, the next exercise was the push-up test, which when we compare the first week with the 7th week, in that, the first week she got 35. This past week she got 40, which is really great. Her arm diameter went down 1/8 of an inch, which it's not really noticeable, but I mean, her arms do look more toned, so I think that's awesome. Another thing is, I don't know, if you watch the video you can see her head goes down a lot, but that is probably because she had surgery to remove a tumor from her C2 spinal cord. It was a schwannoma. And anyway, she's never really had really good neck muscle since, and that was like a year and a half ago. So we both have neck issues. I broke mine, she had a tumor in hers, so yeah, not fun with the necks. But anyway, yeah, so her head hangs down a little bit. So she usually gets a little pain from that, so that's one of the challenges with the push-ups. But other than, like, you can tell if you watch the video, her head just like kind of hangs there. You can almost see the scar too. But yeah, that was a challenge. Other than that, she enjoys them. She likes push-ups. She likes having toned arms. She's trying to get nice triceps. So, yeah, that's the push-ups. Good form. There you go. But hey, Stella, come here. That's not helpful. Sit. Sit. Interruptions, that will give her an extra one.
How many are you on?
I don't know. Keep going.
No, you said 6.
I didn't say 6.
What am I on?
You're like 20. I'm gonna count. There you go. Keep going. You're like 3 more. Good form. Yeah, those toned arms. Keep your head up. Alright. The last test is the sit and reach test, which is to test flexibility. The first week she got 23, which is in the 85th percentile. And then this last week, week 7, she got 22, which is in the 80th percentile. And that was not an inch drop, which is pretty decent. And she's been around 21 since. But one thing I can think of that would be is just because she's been doing other exercises, squatting and all that, and building up that muscle, and she hadn't really been stretching as much, so as she's building, she might be getting more tight and tighter hamstrings and whatnot. But yeah, there hadn't been really much improvement in that, and she's been a little disappointed at that. But I think we're just gonna continue to stretch after this whole course is over, and get that back up there. Try and hold.
Hello, kids.
Alright, good.
Hi, that was bad.
Don't get up.
He's changing
no.
me. Shit, you're like a dog.
Alright, I want to apologize for the language, and also, I don't know why, but one of the videos while the stretching sit and reach test got deleted. I don't know how, and I don't know why, but yeah, the middle one got deleted. And again, I'm sorry for the language. That's my aunt from California. She came in, and that was her first time being there, and she wanted to perform all the exercises as well. So I made her do all the exercises, and she enjoyed it. And she's like 56, so she did pretty good. Okay, I'm going to tell you 3 things, adaptations that occur because of aerobic training. The first one is it increases your oxygen capacity, and it does this through an increase in myoglobin content, which the myoglobin are a special kind of protein that is in your muscles, and it basically binds to the oxygen that enter the muscle fiber and like holds it. And if you have an increase of the myoglobin, then you're going to have an increase of oxygen that is being held in your muscles, and so the oxygen is what's going to help with energy. Next one is an increase in relative VO2 max, which is the maximum rate at which oxygen can be consumed. So you can have as much oxygen as you want in your body, but if you can't consume it, then what's the point? Where I'm going. VO2 max correlates well with endurance performance athletes, and it also correlates well with many measures of fitness. It's basically how we test fitness in scientific terms. And the last thing that is going to happen with the aerobic training and the adaptations that will occur is an increase in oxidation of carbohydrates. And the carbohydrates is basically the energy that we're going to have, and if we increase the oxidation of it, it's basically increasing the capacity for our muscle to generate energy, which is going to help tremendously if you need energy and you're running for longer distances or anything. Yep. And those are 3 adaptations that occur because of aerobic training. One thing I've forgotten to mention, which is actually a 4th thing, for the aerobic training adaptations, is the anaerobic threshold, also sometimes known as the lactate threshold, and it is the point during exercise in which your body has to switch from aerobic metabolism to anaerobic metabolism. And it does this because your body is working so hard that the aerobic metabolism can't keep up with the demands of the body, so it has to switch. So by increasing aerobic training at submaximal level, you will in turn increase the lactate threshold or anaerobic threshold. Next is the anaerobic training, and the adaptations from that. Anaerobic training is basically just high intensity training where oxygen is not the main source of energy. It is beyond when your body is demanding more energy than the oxygen can produce. It has to take the energy from other areas. And so some of the adaptations from anaerobic training include muscle size through hypertrophy. And there's 2 types of muscle, type 1 and type 2. And the main one that undergoes hypertrophy is type 2 during anaerobic training, because it is faster twitch muscles, fibers, and in anaerobic it's usually short burst or heavy lifts, quick lifts, and more than oxidative can keep up with. So it would be an increase in that, and that's the first thing. Another adaptation that occurs because of anaerobic training is the ATP-PC system, which is the adenosine triphosphate phosphocreatine system. And this is basically the breakdown of, they're basically high energy phosphates. And they'll break down for high intensity, short duration exercises, usually that are like 20 seconds, 10 to 15 to 20 seconds. And this is because oxygen is not going to be enough to supply energy for that, so you need the ATP-PC system. And the through adaptation from anaerobic exercise, you will increase your capacity to basically store ATP. So you'll have more ATP to use, and you'll be able to do the high intensity training for longer periods of time and increase the strength and amount of energy that you can use during that time. Alright, and the third and final adaptation that occurs because of anaerobic training is an improved VO2 max. Now this also happens during aerobic training, but in anaerobic training, doing circuit training and programs of high volume and short rest periods, that will increase the VO2 max, which correlates with physical fitness and increases that, and basically the rate at which oxygen can be consumed during the maximal stress, which the anaerobic system is when you're stressing your body enough that it can no longer use oxygen. So if you're putting yourself at that high stress, your body's going to need to adapt in order to basically accommodate the stress that you're putting it through. So that is another thing that will increase, and that is the VO2 max. Alright, and for the faith integration part, I was thinking what to say, and my favorite Bible verse has personally always been Philippians 4:19, which says, "And my God will fully supply all your needs according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus." And that's one version. But yeah, that verse is just awesome when you just think about all the things that God supplies us with inwardly, inside of us, like the myoglobin, for example, just such a tiny thing inside of us, but it holds the oxygen in our muscles so that we can use them when we need it. And that's just one thing. Just how complex our body is unbelievable, and how everything works for something, and just how finely tuned we are. It's just kind of incredible, and that's just inwardly, and not even to mention outwardly how he supplies for our needs. And that's just really, for me, it's just just takes a load off, because hey, I'm gonna try my best, but in the end I know God's gonna completely supply me and satisfy all my needs according to Jesus. And that's just awesome to think about. You don't really have to stress too much, and he doesn't ask very much. All he asks is that we accept him and follow him and build a relationship with him. And if we do that, he's going to satisfy all our needs. And yeah, that's basically one thing. And I think it's just incredible how complex we are, and everything we need to survive, besides like food, shelter, water, all that inside us works for something. And yeah, so it's cool. No stress. God supplies, and he promises he will. The end. Sorry this video was so long, by the way. I tried to shorten it, but I couldn't really get it.